I'm your host, Locum23. You're joining me for Titanic, Episode 1. The RMS Titanic was a luxury passenger liner that sank after colliding with an iceberg in 1912. Inspired by James Cameron's Oscar-winning historical drama, each season of Titanic showcases the life of a single passenger. In Season 1, you will step into the role of a young woman who fought for justice and choose your own future. I am standing on the deck of the finest ship ever built, salt wind whipping through my hair as we speed across the Atlantic. 2,200 passengers sail with me, millionaire tycoons, socialites, immigrant families and ship stewards, lovers and the brokenhearted. Every passenger has a story, and this is mine. My name is Adelaide Karam. 1 month ago, I made a choice that would change me forever. London. 1 month earlier, I'm in a prison. Again. Back again, are we, Adelaide?
Oh, one of your regulars?
I see her more than my children these days. I assume she was protesting again. Did she chain herself to a railing or strike a policeman or both?
She smashed up a shop window, shouting about women's rights to vote. Oh, what would your father say, young lady?
Papa's dead, of course. I try to imagine his soft voice, his strained accent, and tell the officers, "You're idiots. You tell you to join the resistance. The dead don't talk. Tell you to join the resistance. My father is gone, but he would have marched with us, standing up for me and for you. You can't say you don't see the injustice here every day, Officer Porter. Why don't you join us next time
Oh, right, that's enough. No husband neither, I wager. Well, fewer people to miss you while you're banged up.
It'll go hard for you this time, Adelaide. Property damage, public disorder.
Oh, what she means is settle yourself in, girl. You're going to be in there for a good long time.
My breath comes faster and faster as they walk away. I am afraid, but not for myself. I am afraid for the only person still living that I love. Helene, my sister.
Well, you're very convincing. It's been so long since I met an idealist.
Voice comes from the next cell over. A rich boy slumming it up in the London jails. He reeks of cheap gin and expensive cologne. I saw one of your lot speak in Hyde Park, waving her arms and demanding dignity. You remind me of her, trying to recruit that officer. So fiery, so righteous. We need everyone, even men. I like to give people a chance, even if they are carrying nightsticks, or pestering me in a gin-soaked haze. Oh, who would ever do such a thing to you? He speaks with impressive, if false, sincerity. James Isler, at your service. Adelaide Karam.
Adelaide Karam, window smasher, habitual inmate, and,
a rebel. Can't you tell I'm everything the newspapers warned you about? Women with a head of their own, encouraged to stand up for themselves. Ah, jail time and opinions. Now I'm shocked, Miss Karam. He laughs long and loud at his own joke. I believe he's in the way only wealthy can manage. All joking aside, though, I was actually wondering about your line of work, and, well, more specifically, whether you can read and write. My father taught me, and yours? Oh, my father was a poor immigrant, but I had a very good governess, and now, well, just look at me. You don't look poor. I can't imagine you growing up struggling to survive. Oh, I didn't. My aunt's very wealthy. You do you think paid for the governess? You choose your family well, Mr. Essler. Didn't I? Well, regardless. A commotion in the hall interrupts James's story. An elegant man strides our way, comfortable despite his surroundings. He is perfectly dressed and has lively, intelligent eyes. Ah, I do believe that's my rescue, and so late, I'm practically sober. Miss Carum, meet Medio Vasari, my valet. Come to pay my bail. Tio, this is my new friend, Miss Carum. Making friends in high places as usual, James. Voice is smooth, rich, and almost controlled. He's a servant, but he calls his master by his first name. His vowels sound pleasingly Italian, accented with something I cannot place. He turns to me, and I have a moment to notice his startling hazel of his eyes before his lips curl into a rakish smile. Study him. I meet his look of cool appraisal with one of my own, arching one eyebrow while slowly taking him in. Miss Carroll, pity to meet like this, and yet, well, James's hobbies rarely yield such lovely acquaintances. Miss Carrum's hobbies involve shouting at police about a fair society. Terrible noble, don't you think? Theo's smile towards James is rigid, the smile of an employee for his employer. Shall we, guess why James is in prison today? Gambling debts, paying for sex, public drunkenness. I'd rather not. Public drunkenness. It's easy enough. The fancy clothes, the cheap smell of gin. He got drunk and did something foolish. Ah, Miss Carum, you strike me at the heart of the matter. Only the gin wasn't cheap. Oh, then you were fleeced. Oh, you really are utterly ruthless, aren't you? Unfortunately, you are also entirely correct. I also stole a policeman's helmet and, upchucked into it, so they tell me. Anyway, it's all a bit hazy. Entirely charming, James. Now let's see about your bail. They continue, but my attention is drawn to new footsteps in the hall. Eleni. My sister moves confidently towards me. We live together in a rat-infested apartment above a butcher shop, but she's visited me in prison enough to know these cells are just as well. Eleni. Ah, so there's a sister. She looks too old for her 14 years, not enough food, not enough rest. When Papa died, I was supposed to care for her. I'm all she has. You look terrible. It's good to see you too. You shouldn't have come, and you look tired. When was the last time you slept, Eleni? Properly, I mean. Oh, I don't know. When was your first arrest? She lets out a long breath, and her irritation turns to concern. They said you're in proper trouble this time. They said... She calls me by my real name, Adol Carum. I've told her to pronounce it Adelie, but she never does. The trial made me months off, and you might be sentenced for a whole year. Is that true? Yes, Helene, it's true. Well, I suppose I'll finally have some time without you looking over my shoulder. Give her advice, apologize, encourage her. I'll find a way. I always do. We always do, don't we? No matter what. Her voice goes quiet when she says, I wish Papa were here. Is it worth it? Prison? Leaving me? To fight for votes for women. You know it's pointless. Nothing changes. Not for us. Not ever. Well, with an attitude like that, nothing ever will change. You can't believe that? I'm a fighter. I'm sorry. You can't believe that. Nothing stays the same. It's just about which direction we push the world. I have to believe that. She says she's silent for a minute, but I can tell she's trying very hard not to fight with me. I'll come visit you whenever I can. The new forewoman at the factory is a soft touch. Keep out of trouble. Take your own advice for once. She reaches through the bars and presses her hands together once, twice, and then she leaves. I glance into the neighboring cell. James and his valet, Matteo, are gone. No surprise, the rules are different for the rich. I sit on the hard bed and I lean against the cold stone of the wall. It's quiet, dim, and I am entirely and utterly alone. A month later, I'm watching a beetle crawl across the stone floor of the cell when the key turns in the lock and the metal door swings open on grating hinges. It's the guard who tossed me in, the one with rough hands and a sour expression. All the girls know he's trouble. He prefers fists over words. I've dodged him until now. He doesn't say a word, just stomps in the cell and grabs me by the arm. Be polite. I'm not quite sure what this is all about, officer. The force of his blow drives me to my knees, my skin shredding on the rough stone floor. The world spins as I look back at him. You're a scrawny thing, aren't you? Get up! I start coughing and blood spatters the floor. He split my lip. You're about to experience your first premium choice in Titanic. Premium choices enable you to see extra content, gain new skills, show off a new look, or do something extraordinary. Premium choice features elements of real-world history. Women in England trained in the martial art of jiu-jitsu to defend against police violence while fighting for equal rights. The knowing jiu-jitsu will give you the ability to defend yourself and surprise people throughout the entire story. Reaches for me again, and I'm gonna wait on this one. Let's just wait. I let him pull me up. Well, I let him try. I loosen my muscles till I'm all but impossible to move. Every time he manages to pull me to my feet, my knees wobble. I go right back down. I sag against the bed. A ragdoll. Enough of that, you little... Just as he's about to throw me over his shoulder like a rebellious sack of potatoes, I am saved. What the hell is going on here? He takes one look at my condition and exhales a long, suffering sigh. Her visitor's waiting. I'll take it from here. The guard's about to say something, but decides against it. He must be smarter than he looks. Your mouth get you in trouble again? Keeping it shut doesn't seem to help. She walks me through the nicer visiting rooms and through the winding set of corridors towards the exercise yard. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here, but Officer Porter certainly isn't happy about it. You've got 10 minutes, sir. Not 1 second more, you hear? Oh, Matteo. She swings the heavy door open to reveal Matteo, the rich boy's valet standing in the yard. Not someone I thought I'd see again. His winning smile bounces right off of Officer Porter's grimace, and she shuts the door behind us with a ringing clang. He doesn't say a word, he just looks intently at me. I can only imagine what he sees, and it's not a flattering picture. I can smell the soap on his skin, the pomade in his hair. I feel filthy next to him. After a month here, I am filthy. Who, hit you? Takes out a handkerchief and dabs at my split lip, and then, as if surprised by himself, he changes tack with a remarkable smoothness. I don't think I introduced myself properly before. Matteo Vasari, at your service, Miss Karam. Smile. I attempt a closed-mouth smile through my cracked lips and ignore a prickle of shame. This isn't the longest you've been in prison, isn't it, Miss Karam? And I understand they're sentencing girls like you to 6 months now, even an entire year. Do you really think you can last that long in here? Do you think your sister can last that long out there? As much as I appreciate the fresh air, do you have a point? I do, in fact. I have a proposal for you. From my master, James Essler. Go ahead and explain. Well, obviously he hasn't fallen madly in love with me, so it must be something else. You're not naive. That will help. He smooths his jacket. His hands are sure and certain, but there's a hint of tension in the gesture. I'll come right down to it, Miss Karam. He is willing not only to pay your bail, but to offer you a second chance. No more factory work for backbreaking hours, no more struggling to obtain simple necessities. A new life, not just for you, but for your younger sister as well. My father always said that it sounds too good to be true. It probably is. But the facts are these. James has a wealthy aunt. She paid for his education, his club memberships, his London house. And while she is loving and generous to her young nephew, she is, to most other people, a fire-breathing dragon. She has burned through 8 private secretaries in the last year alone. James and his aunt will travel by cruise liner to New York in a week's time. You can stay here and hope for a lenient sentence. His expression makes it clear how likely he thinks that is. Or you can become a secretary, manage the demands of a spoiled rich lady, and build a new life for yourself and your sister in New York. Am I even qualified for the job? I've never really done any secretarial work. You're clever, and James said you can read and write. You'll manage. So which is it, Adelaide? Sail away with all your troubles, or stay right here? And he puts it that way. There isn't really much of a choice at all. I'll go. I say through cracked lips, and my emotions are awry. He shakes my hand, and we seal our bargain. There is one more thing you should know. James's aunt is not only wealthy, but famous. She's Zeta Surda, the film star. He waits for my response, but I don't have one to give him. You don't know Zeta Surda, the star of American Aphrodite? What about the small-town showgirl? Between protests and jail time, I rarely get to motion picture shows. Considering me chastised, I live a wasted life in comparison. Mateo laughs lightly, but he doesn't quite reach his eyes. Very little seems to when he speaks of himself. Zeta's career has been in something of a slump, but she's planning on making a comeback in America. You'll be assisting her on the Atlantic crossing. Any other questions, Miss Karam? Why me? There are better places to find a secretary than a prison. James must know that. This is how he finds a secretary. Just imagine where he finds his valets. Smiles as he says it, almost in mischievous. He hands me a pair of tickets, purchased in advance, it seems. 2 second-class bookings on the White Star Line for their steamship, the RMS Titanic, sailing to New York City on the 10th of April, 1912, 1 week from now. Go home, Adelaide, and tell your sister the good news. I am not going to lie, the artwork is spectacular in this game. I hold on to Helene's hand tightly as London train rattles and speeds southward. Each suitcase we carry is carefully packed, each outfit painstakingly chosen. That looks awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Dull and traditional. Now may not be the time for making bold statements and getting noticed. I am a bail jumper, after all. We are carried along the crowd to the Southampton docks. The RMS Titanic is already there, a behemoth of a ship, vaster in size than I could ever possibly have imagined. 3 of its 4 stacks are already belching soot into the air as if it were some great beast. I think of Mateo's description of my new boss, Zeta Surad, the fire-breathing dragon. What are you smiling at? Oh, nothing. I turn and she's looking at the ship with worry in her eyes instead of wonder. Don't fret about every small thing. We'll be in New York in, a week at most. And I know you don't like ships, but this one's more like a floating hotel. There's nothing to be worried about. It's not the ship I don't trust, it's the ocean. We make our way to the first and second class gangway, passing the third class passengers on the way. I take one look at them, hard-faced men and women holding bundles and babies dressed in rough clothes and pulled down flat caps. Our line shuffles forward slowly. I look around, trying to spot James and Mateo, or even Zeta. Surely a film star would be obvious, even in a crowd like this. But no, There are too many ladies dressed in the latest Parisian fashions, men with silk cravats that cost more than a woman would earn from a year's work in a shirtwaist factory. All of them, all of us, heading somewhere new together. A doll? Her voice is as childlike as I've ever heard it, soft and tentative. What if I don't want to go? What if I liked our life? Hug her. I pull my sister close, feeling my warmth, or her warmth through our clothes. She's startled for a moment, and then hugs me back. The gangplank shifts and rolls a little as people move up. We're close to the front of the line.
Tickets, please.
I give our tickets to the bored-looking steward. I don't blame him. It's a warm day, and there are still at least 100 passengers to embark. His expression goes from bored to perplexed as he checks the tickets against the passenger list.
Sorry, miss. Which one of you is a delicarum?
I am.
Right, well, you're booked in second class, right, and Ty? But Miss Helene, she's booked in third class.
There's no way that's possible. These tickets were booked together.
Sorry, miss, I don't know what to tell you. Tickets say one thing, but the passenger list says another. Third class gangways over there.
Adol, what's going on? Look, there's been some mistake.
I need you to lower your voice, miss. I've got 100 passengers to get on board before 11:30, and this ain't helping.
Whistle blows, and the crowd behind us grows impatient. I can feel the steward's mounting exasperation. Adol, please don't leave me. Hold tight to her hand and see the fear in her eyes. Aboard the Titanic, across the ocean is our future. But in front of me is my sister. I told her there was nothing to worry about. Another whistle blows, long and inconsistent. The steward coughs expectantly and waits for my answer. I tighten my grip around her hands and look up. I know what I have to do. Hey! That was not bad. Did you enjoy this episode? Yes, you get a full 5 stars. So far, enjoying this app. This is the first time I've downloaded or touched it. I like how it's got a little download thing down there at the bottom. It says next episode to ticket. Or let's go ahead and just real quick close that. Nice. I love it. Cool. Alright, well, without further ado, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description below, links to social media, Discord, and a few links to support me and my content. Be greatly appreciated. If you did enjoy the Storyscape app, and you did enjoy basically me reading, please let me know down below if you're looking forward to more. There's several stories on the app right now. You should really check it out. It finally hit global release a little bit ago. So I've been meaning to get around to it, and finally we're caught up with streams, games, and everything till the 15th, so I think I would hit this up. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.